people think that your life is full of yachts and sports cars and money falling out of your pockets. But is that the truth? Is it the truth that if you have a business, that you're flooded with money, that you have all the toys in the world, and that life is smooth sailing? In this episode, follow me along, we're gonna find out. So when you look at high rises and big buildings, you think of wealth, you think of money, you think of people that are successful in their life. But what you often don't see is behind the scenes. Is that reality? Or is the reality behind closed doors a lot different? I'm living in Cebu City in the Philippines, and wherever I look here, I see big cranes and sky rises that are being built. There's obviously a lot of money, obviously a lot of success here. People doing a lot of amazing things. When people think of business owners, I think they think of those sky rises, kind of a metaphor for what people are going through, and they see all the employees working at those offices and think those are the people doing the work. But those business owners, they must have a lot of time to do whatever it is they want while everybody else is getting all the real work done. But is that the reality? You know, when it comes to having a business, it is true. I think business owners have a really flexible schedule. I know that I do in my own life. If I want to take off in the middle of the day to go to the beach, or if I want to take a nap, or if I want to go out shooting video with my guys and talk to you in a camera, it's no problem. I don't have to ask anybody. I just do it. Or if I want to take a day off during the week and go away to a nice resort by the beach, I could do that. So I am fortunate as a business owner that I have a lot of flexible time. But what's the flip side to that? The reality is that I have a lot of work that I have to do. Whether I take the time off or not, it's always there. And sometimes being a business owner, it doesn't mean that you have a lot of flexible time and that when you leave, that time just kind of stands still. While you're away, the work keeps adding up. The responsibility is still there. And while other people get a clock out at 6 p.m., I sometimes clock out at 12 o'clock, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. As a business owner, I have to get things done. It doesn't matter if I'm making more or making less. It doesn't matter if I'm exhausted. There are always things that I have to do because I have to do them. So as a business owner, do you get a lot of flexibility with time? Absolutely. Are you really fortunate, like a lot of others aren't, to be able to just take off and do whatever you want, virtually whenever you want? Absolutely. But does that mean that you work less than others? I really think it doesn't. In more cases than not, if you look at the average hours of business owners, they have to put a lot of hours in. 40 hours is often when the week begins for a lot of business owners. I know in the initial years of my business, there was rarely a night where I went to bed before 2 a.m. I just had to get stuff done, and I had to put in the hours until everything was completed. I think another thing that people think of business owners is that they always have a lot of money. The thing is that a business may make a lot of money may come in other words, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the business owner gets to keep all of that or even close to it. At the end of the day, sometimes a business owner might lose money in a particular month or even for months. So I think of a year like this with the pandemic. We had actually our biggest sales week for one of my companies in 12 years of business was during the pandemic, and that was exciting. We also had weeks and weeks where we just went negative as well. So when you are a business owner, yes, sometimes a lot of money does come in, but that doesn't necessarily mean that after everything's paid, taxes and payroll and office rent and expenses and computers and all the supplies that it takes to run a business, it doesn't necessarily mean that the business owner is making anything, because everybody else has to be paid first. I have a Facebook page that I like to use, and I do my best to try to reach out to people that are entrepreneurial. Maybe they want to start a business, and I always love giving advice to them. But lately, I've probably got 3 messages a day where people are asking if I could fund their business, if I could give them money for their idea. That really wasn't the idea of the page. You know, when I asked entrepreneurs or people that have startups or people that would like to start their own business. My idea was never that I would be an ATM machine to help fund their business. Really what my heart was is that all of the mistakes I made and all the things that I've learned over the years, that I would be there to be able to give them advice that I wish I would have had myself at the beginning, to be able to help them to spend less and to have more success quicker. But I know the perception for a lot of those people is that because I'm a business owner, that I must have a lot of money just lying around to throw around to anybody who needs some money. That really isn't the case. As a business owner, you are fortunate in many cases, but in the US, the statistics are that 80% of businesses fail within the first year of opening up in the US. And out of those 20% that make it, 80% of those are gonna die within the next 5 years as well. So when you have a business, often it just means you're gonna be the one, not that necessarily makes so much money, but that loses the most money if you're not careful. So money is one of those things that certainly can come as a result of having a business. But if that is your only reason for starting a business, just to make money, I would say find a job. It's one motivation, but chances are, if you're only in it to make money, the risks are so high that for the statistically high normal range of people, they're actually going to lose more than they're going to make. So do your due diligence. Think hard about not just how much you want to make, but are you willing to lose? Because most entrepreneurs wind up losing before they make. Have a look at these tail lights on the back of this truck. You think that business owner has a lot of money? He's having a hard time even getting these tail lights put in a proper place on this truck. So what about being your own boss? A lot of people think, if I have my own business, I gotta be my own boss, and that's a lot of fun, right? I mean, who wants to have someone else boss them around? I agree. I wouldn't want anyone else to be my boss. I had a lot of pretty awful bosses when I was younger. I also gotta say, though, that I had a couple of amazing bosses that really made a huge impact in my life as well. So it's a bit of a luck of the draw when you have a boss that you work for, but when you are the boss, there's an incredible amount of freedom to be able to create company culture and relationships and the direction of the company that I love. So for me, this is really one of the wonderful things about being able to own your own company, is being able to set the vision and the mission and the values of the company. However, with that, there is a lot of responsibility. And just because you're the boss of others doesn't mean that you also don't have some bosses yourself as well, because many people are gonna want to boss you around. Some of those people are called clients. Others of those people might be investors if you have investors in your business. So it's not completely one-sided. Mostly if you're a boss, you still have some bosses yourself. So I love this business owner. This guy doesn't have a lot, but he has a bike that has his whole business on it. So it's a mobile business. He had his weight scales there. He has his employee, Rover, or whatever the dog's name is there. He has some bananas that he's gonna sell, and he's traveling to wherever else he can make some money for a day. So good for that guy, making the entrepreneurial life come alive, even if he just has a little cash to do it.
Okay, you last one?
He's trying to pronounce my name. It always somehow comes out John A. Smulo.
Alright, stop by. Okay, see you guys. Give me five. See you guys. Thank you guys. Bye.
So what about being a business owner? Is it all smiles? Is it all perfect days? Is it always money raining? It's not. But I gotta say, there's nothing else that I would rather do in the world than be a business owner. From the time I was a teenager until 12 years ago when I started my first business, there's been nothing more exciting to me than running my own business. So with all of the challenges, with all of the struggles, I wouldn't change anything. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you want to start a business? If you do, I'm always here to help. Just send me a direct message to my Facebook, John Smulo TV, and I'd love to help any way possible. Have a great day. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, hit the notifications below. Take care.